Hi and welcome to my tiny art studio. In this video I talk about my favorite art supplies. There is so much I love about art: brushes, paint, paper, and I think as an artist you almost have a love affair with your art tools because in one sense they are an extension of yourself. And another favorite I have is art books. I love to read about old masters and I do love art quotes. And my favorite at the moment is from Aristotle, and he said the aim of art is not to represent the outward appearance of things but the inward significance. And I think that quote gives so much food for thought. And let's begin with acrylic paint and brushes, and I'm going to pull that one up to my paint desk and sit down. This is my very first acrylic painting that I made, and I made it with using only one brush, but disaster struck the other week. It broke off. It's a Rooney Graduate number 4 round brush, and they were really hard to find here in Sweden. So I had to go to the art shop here in town and see what they have. And I was so lucky, I found 3 new favorites. It's Da Vinci College. First I bought the number 4 because it said number 4 on that one, so I just assumed they would be the same size. But as you can see, quite a different in size. And so I had to go back and I bought a number 2 and a number 0, and I am so happy with these ones. I do not have to find another Rooney brush, because these ones are my new favorite. I don't need any other brushes than these for doing acrylic painting. It feels like that anyways, but it's not really true. Another favorite thing that I have is a knitting needle. And I like to scratch details into my paintings. And I did it on this painting because I was struggling with the leaves. Then I just thought, oh, sod it, and just scratched the leaves in. And then I kind of liked that one. So I did the vase as well. And now that is something I use now and again in my paintings. And I say this is an art tool as well. These are my 2 water jugs. I always keep 2 jugs of water when I paint, as you should. And I like them because I can go and get water and hold on to them good. And I bought these ones in an antique shop, and they are hard to find. To the other favorite brushes. Not all my brushes are favorites. There are some in here that I do not care for at all. These ones were my favorites before these Da Vinci, and these ones are called Lavanche. I have no idea how you pronounce it, and I am surprised how much I like this size. I need to get more flat brushes like this. So they are also favorites. And 2 other favorites that I have is these 2. I use them mostly for gesso or for big backgrounds. They are very nice and soft, so the background doesn't go stripy or the gesso. And here I have an array of round small brushes, and most of them in here are retired watercolor brushes. They are very handy for acrylic painting when you want to make small details, so I use them quite a lot. Well, and here are a few flat brushes as well that I do reach for now and again. So that's all my favorite acrylic brushes. Now to the paint. First, in this box I have all my red and purple and pinks. I got this one just because I wanted to have it. So some of the paints I wanted to own just in case I needed them and I liked them. And all the purples and the burgundy are in that category. Cadmium red hue, I used that one a lot, mainly because it was my first red. Permanent rose is also a favorite that I have, and that was also duplicate. And pale terracotta has turned out to be a very good color to have as well. when it comes to yellow, I like to have an orange because sometimes I just want a really strong orange, and I don't think you can mix that strong of a pigment. Pale lemon I bought by mistake. I was meant to buy lemon yellow, but this one is really a favorite now because I use it to highlight treetops or where the sun hits things. The pale lemon works really nice, and sometimes I do mix it with the lemon yellow if it stands out too much. And here's one that I'm not going to buy again. It's a cadmium yellow, and I don't like cadmium in my paints. Anyways, let's start with the blue. Ultramarine and Windsor blue. And this one is so fun, powder blue. And I do like this Galleria, Winsor Newton's Galleria acrylic. I like the way they look, and I was thinking of buying the one that are more professional. I didn't like the look of them first, and then I thought the tubes looked smaller and I want plenty of paint, and then I did read about it, and they are so light fast, and so I don't think it really matters. And this powder blue is a lovely color to have. I do really recommend to have a powder blue. Cobalt blue, I have that one just because you're supposed to have cobalt as well, but I can't say it's a favorite. And the green, one of my greens that I bought that I thought was going to be a really big mistake was permanent green light, but as it turned out, that one is also good to highlight leaves and treetops. I haven't had this pale olive for very long, you can tell, so I don't know if it's a favorite or not yet. Olive green, good paint for autumn landscapes. For the green, the grass. Deep turquoise, actually I think that is also within the favorite category. Green gold, not could be up without that one. Hooker's green, good. Sap green, perfect. Phthalo green, yes, that's a favorite. And on this side I have browns. I do not believe in having a simple palette, at least not for myself. Buff titanium, perfect color to have. Burnt umber and Van Dyke brown and raw sienna. I feel like I need one more brown. And in this there is Pines grey. That's a very good color to have for shades. And lamp black, because you do need black now and again. Titanium white, and I have this big jar of titanium white, and I use this one at home, and I have this one to bring with me if I would like to sit and paint outdoors somewhere. And then pale umber is also a very good color to have. So that's my acrylic paint. And of course towels. That's also a favorite tool that I have here in my art studio. And I also collect jugs because I think they are pretty, but they are also so useful to use to just put down your brushes in. And I also have this little tiny one, and don't really know what to use it for yet, but I find a use for it. And also when we go to antique shops, I like to buy antique vases that have this pattern that is scratched into the glass. Some of the vases I've got is crystal as well, and I like this one with the squirrel, so they are handy. Oh yeah, and another favorite in my art studio is a hair blow dryer. And it's not very good with watercolors because it does push the color away, so I am going to look into finding one of those more professional things that just come with heat but they don't blow air. I don't really know how they work. For now, this is a favorite, so it works good with acrylic. And a new favorite that I have is canvas block for acrylic painting. It's like a soft canvas. It feels like canvas, and I don't know if it is, or if it's paper that feels like canvas. I can't really figure it out, but it is really nice. It has the structure on the surface of real canvas, and it's absolutely lovely to paint on. I painted this picture on that canvas, and see how nice it turns out. You can see the canvas through the paint. It gives the painting a new dimension. It doesn't go so flat. So that's a new favorite. But mostly when I paint on canvas panel. But this one that I'm going to paint is a bit of an experiment. So this has been the back piece of watercolor block of paper. So I'm using that one just to sort of practice what I want to do. So I guess that's a favorite as well. I do have gouache as well, but they are not my favorites. So I'm not going to show them because this is a video about my favorites. So now over to my watercolors. This palette I have had for a very long time, and it's a favorite watercolor palette that I have. And I also have white towels for watercolors to wipe off the brush with, and I have white for watercolors and the other ones for acrylic, so I won't mix them up. I also have another palette that I bought in a charity shop. It's a plate for some type of food, but you can also buy the ones that are for clams. And to my watercolor brushes, this came with a piece of fabric that went up like this, but I took away the fabric and then I pulled the rubber band through. It was really hard work. I didn't like how the fabric made all the brushes just fall out. They was just falling all over the place, and some brushes are really delicate, like these Da Vinci brushes. I like them a lot. I normally reach for this Da Vinci #1, but I have this one as well, and I hope to use it one day for a big watercolor splashy kind of painting. I use these Da Vinci Hardback Kolinsky brushes because I used to paint an awful lot of botanical art, and I don't do that as much anymore, or at least it has changed. But I don't do the delicate work anymore because I found that rather tedious. And these are Winsor & Newton Professional. I didn't like them at all. They don't pull together. These ones pull together like the tip of the brush. And fine with these ones, they just shape themselves very nicely in, and this one just doesn't do that. I got some water here so we can do the brush test. And these ones that were not my favorites. They are the Winsor & Newton Professional Watercolor Sable Round. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see that, if you can show, if it shows up, but oh, that was outside the camera. I have to do this again. Oh gosh. Oh, it ends like this, and that's not good. It should end like super thin, and the equivalent of the size is this one. That's a #2, and this is a Da Vinci #3 Hardback Kolinsky. Could do with a bit more water there. You see how that one ends? Perfect. That's what you want. And you can also see that a good watercolor brush to just shape themselves super thin. And look at this compared to the other one. Look at that tip of that brush. Perfect. See what a nice line you can do. Perfect. That's what you want, and that's what you do not want. The rest of the brushes are old. This one used to belong to my papa, and this is one from when I was little, and it's pony hair. Where did that come from? Well, obviously a pony, but you know, odd. So they're just that for keepsakes and memory. And this is my favorite watercolor palette. I like it because it feels good in my hand. But I did like this size, but I want too many watercolor shades with me, so that one doesn't work for me. One from my plein air painting palette. I love this one because my papa gave me this one. 5 rows full of watercolors. So he sorted me out nicely with watercolors. And in this one, there is mostly Sennelier watercolors, and you can see here how lovely they are. These are Sennelier watercolors, these ones. And then I have Buff Titanium, that's Daniel Smith, and this one is Winsor Newton one, because the Sennelier one in that turquoise is not light fast. I write it on the screen what that one is because I can't remember it, but that's also a very nice translucent orange. And that one is very good to have in botanical painting. And now I'm going to show you my favorite paper that I use for watercolor painting, and I think you will all be a little bit surprised. Let's make some room here first, and it is this one. Hansun sketch paper with the orange. That's very important that it is this one. And this is a project that I'm working on for an exhibition. It's going to be birds and flowers that are around here where I live in Sweden. This is my way of doing botanical art without being absolutely bored. I just love this paper, and I love how the watercolors float on top of it and what you can do and the effects and the crinkling of the paper. I just love everything about it. I like that it's not perfect. And white, the paper is not white either. On this paper, Sennelier watercolors has proven to be really good because you can see how strong the pigment is. And on this paper, you really need really strong pigment because you can't overwork it either. So that's my favorite watercolor paper. And of course, I do have normal watercolor paper, but none of them has become a favorite as this one has. Now I moved over to my drawing desk, and first thing, pencils. And I don't really have a favorite brand name, but 4B is a favorite that I have, and my absolute favorite is 2B to draw it. It's so smooth on the paper, and I feel like I get up speed, if that makes sense. I don't know. And 2H used to be a favorite, not so much anymore. And also this is an eraser rubber pen, and it has a brush here, so you can erase that and instantly just brush it off. But I wouldn't recommend this on a watercolor paper or a paper you want to paint on because it's far too rough. It destroys the paper. And another favorite thing that I have is these. It's a Faber-Castell rubber eraser, and you pop it on and that's a favorite because they are softer to use. And then when you need my new favorite, and that's this one. Perfect to have. Now to another rubber I like, and it's dust free, but I don't know. Well, it does create a little bit of dust, so it's not totally dust free, but pretty much, and they are by far my favorites. And now to sharpeners, and they are tricky because every time I buy a new sharpener it becomes my favorite until I wear it out, and then it's not my favorite anymore. But these ones are good because when you bring them with you it keeps the dust inside. So that's my favorite tools for drawing. Another favorite that I have is these ones that are the Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils, and I like them because they react very nicely to colored paper. And this was supposed to be this year's calendar, but there were a change of hearts. I'm lucky that I only made one, and I didn't even finish this one until I had to start the way they wanted it. And the pigment is nice and strong, and I like that a lot. And you can see even on darker paper, but some of the colors are my favorites. You can see they are shorter than the other ones, and some of them are replaced in new, but some of them I just bought because I think they are pretty, and that's fun. I am not a collector of art supplies in any shape or form. I just like to have plenty of the ones that I like. And crayons. I have loved crayons ever since I was a child, and I am so amazed that these crayons exist for grown-ups, and they are light fast and just amazing. These ones are the Neo Color one, and they are not water soluble, but I am going to get myself a set of the water soluble ones as well. I try my hardest not to break my crayons, but sometimes it does happen when I press too hard. So the perks of being a grown-up: nobody can be angry at you for breaking crayons by mistake. And here to another favorite that I have, and it's just plain old paper, you can see. And these are Pilot sign pen, and they have a black as well, but I don't like blacks. I can nearly say that this is a hobby of mine, to sit and draw quick sketches with these pens in a block like this. Now that was it. That was all my favorite things that I could think of today. I'm sure that I have more that I've forgotten about, but this has to do now. I'm just going to show you one more thing that are my favorites. I brought you into the study and to one of the bookshelves, all my dried flowers, and look at that dragonfly inside. I'll show you. Isn't he just amazing? He's dried like that with wings and all. We found him on the floor, dried already, but these are eggshells and dried flowers. So this is a favorite art tool I have in sense of reference material. So you see I have all sorts of rocks, moss, and my flower press. And do something that I really love, and that is books. I buy these ones at bookshops that have old books, and I collect these ones with flowers and birds, and I love having books as a reference when I paint, and I have it lying in front of me. It's so easy to just look up things on the internet, but it's so special with a good book, and especially old books. I'll show you what they look like. Old books, they are so pretty, and the illustrations are so nice. Books new or old, I just love books. And this is my herbarium. It's full of pressed flowers. It's the flowers from the summer that needs to go into the book. And I can't believe that I almost forgot to show you my easel. Obviously you've seen this before. I show you the drawer. I mean, handy dandy. I've had this easel for long. That was last year's Christmas gift to me. And I adore this easel. It is so practical. Creates an awful lot of shadow, this light. Well, you have to excuse the shadow. So if I want to sit by my desk and I want to sit and paint, I could just lower that one and I can sit easy and paint up here and just raise it up again if I want to paint down here again. That's absolutely a favorite tool that I have, my easel. And obviously as well, the trolley on wheels. I guess that has become a favorite tool as well. Hi there again. It's snowing outside, but I don't think you can see that. But I think you can see our magnificent Christmas tree out on the lawn. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. And I'll see you in the next video. Lots of love.